Yeah, more classes. Woo, alright, yeah, more taking notes and stuff. We're gonna do more of the school stuff. I believe all of what's available to us at the moment is available now that we defeated all the gym leaders. So, let's take some classes. Biology, please. Who's the biology? Oh my goodness, it's Jacques again. Hello, hello. I hope everyone's ready to learn some new things today. Y'all did really great on the midterm exam. Why, that was a few weeks ago. Thanks for answering my little question at the end, too. I'll be sure to keep your responses in mind. Alright, we're now heading into the last half of our classes together. It's time for our knowledge to evolve and grow, just like our Pokémon. Evolution. Yep, haha, evolution. You got anything more to say about that, or...? Today we're going to learn about the fascinating phenomenon of Pokémon evolution. As your Pokémon battle and level up, they learn moves and get stronger. And for some Pokémon, once they've leveled up enough, their appearance changes and their stats increase, sometimes by a lot. That's Pokémon evolution. Pokémon become very strong when they evolve, making them trusty partners in battle. But some people prefer to keep their Pokémon in their adorable pre-evolved states. To do this, you just need to remember a certain button when your Pokémon begins to evolve. Say it with me if you already know. To cancel evolution, press the C button! B button. That's right, everyone. B for best answer. The button you want... The button you want when you need to stop a Pokémon from evolving is the B button. If you press this button soon after a Pokémon begins to evolve, you can stop it from changing. You can also let the Pokémon hold an item known as an Everstone to keep it from evolving. And keep in mind that the requirements for evolution differ from Pokémon to Pokémon. Some may evolve by having a certain item, such as a Firestone or a Thunderstone, used on them. Others may have to learn a specific move or defeat a specific Pokémon in battle to evolve. The way Primeape evolves into Annihilape is especially strange. You see, there's a certain move that... Whoops, sorry, looks like we're out of time. I guess we'll have to end the class there today. Thank you all for your attention. We got another biology class? You sure do, let's go. Hello, hello, I hope everyone's ready to learn some new things today, but before we get going, do y'all remember the final question from our midterm exam? About the Pokedex, the one you won't shut up about? Well, Director Clavel found out about it somehow and I got yelled at. Whoops. Apparently he could tell I was hiding something just by looking at me. He must have noticed all the color flushed right out of my face, haha. Speaking of color, today I'd like to teach you about all colors as they pertain to Pokemon. Some Pokemon have slightly different coloration or patterning on their bodies based on their gender or individual differences. In very rare cases, a Pokemon may have wildly different coloration compared to others of the same species. We call these specimens shiny Pokemon. It is quite rare to cross paths with one. I did it! Does anyone here know what the likelihood of finding a shiny Pokemon is? 1 in 4,000? Wow, that's right, you may have the makings of a Pokemon professor, what a geek. Shiny Pokemon appear at a rate of 1 in 4,000, more accurately 4096. Isn't that amazing? The probability of encountering one in the wilds is the same as hatching one from an egg, too. Eggs from a pair of Pokemon raised around differing languages are a special case. We call this the Masuda method. There's a higher than average chance that a shiny Pokemon will hatch from these eggs, but we haven't been able to figure out why that is just yet. I've also heard rumors of a charm that increases your likelihood of finding shiny Pokemon when you have it in your bag. Can you believe that? Don't you, have it on hand for whoever finishes your Pokedex, but... this claim can't be scientifically verified, but it sure would be fun if it were true. Whoops, there's the bell. That's all for today, thank you for your attention. Acting like the shiny charm doesn't exist, or maybe acting like the shiny charm doesn't do what it claims to. Like there's a rumor mill surrounding the shiny charm. In universe it has no actual effect, but you kind of will it to actually have an effect, somehow. Next time we meet, we'll have our final exam. That means today is our last actual class, and the topic for this last class will be Pokemon forms. You can just think of forms as the shapes or appearances that Pokemon have. There's also a phenomenon called a form change, where a Pokemon's appearance changes under certain conditions. Cyclizar, for example, which we regularly ride on as transportation here in Paldea, has 3 forms. First, it's its basic form, where it walks on 4 legs. Second is its battle form, where it stands on its hind legs to engage in battle. Finally, there's its ride form, where it inflates its throat sac and its tail so we can ride on its back. Though we can use something you're all carrying with you now as an even better example. Yep, I'm talking about your phones. Some smartphones are inhabited by a certain Pokemon. Does anyone know the Pokemon I'm referring to? It's Pikachu. It's Rotom. You're a regular expert on Pokemon and technology, aren't you, What a Geek? The Pokemon inside your smartphone is Rotom, and it does all sorts of things to help you out. A Rotom inside a Rotom phone is special, so it doesn't try to enter other electronics. An ordinary Rotom, however, can change form by entering washing machines, microwave ovens, and other electronic appliances. Rotom is a bit of an exception, though. Many Pokemon that change form do so simply by holding an item or by having one used on them, like Ogerpon. Oricorio, for example, has 4 different forms it can change between when given certain nectars. Pokemon may even change type or learn different moves where they change form, or when they change form. Form changes are different from evolution in that the Pokemon can return to its original form, and unlike shiny Pokemon which can't change their special coloration, the same individual Pokemon can go back and forth between its forms. There's a lot to dig into with this form change phenomenon, as you can see. We can all learn something from Pokemon here, don't you think? Bit of a stretch, but I'd be happy to see you all enjoy your time at the Academy to the fullest, and change form into a new version of yourselves. Or something like that, anyway. Oh, I almost forgot. Regional forms, which vary based on what region a Pokemon came from, don't change like other forms. They're an innate... Whoops, there's the bell. I guess I was scatterbrained, Mr. Jacques, right up to the very end, huh? I had a great time teaching all of you. I hope you'll do your best on the final exam. Can we do that now? We sure can. Class will begin soon, don't be tardy. Whoop! I'm gonna be so late, gonna need a piece of toast in my mouth as I'm running. Hello everyone, today is our final exam. It'll cover everything I've taught you so far, but I'm sure you all will do just fine. Take your time and contemplate each question carefully. Inflicting paralysis. Oh, how many? 2 of them then. Inflicting paralysis and surprising it from behind. You can get new Pokemon only by catching them. No, that's false. You can also hatch them. If a Pokemon is holding an Everstone, will using an item that induces evolution, such as Firestone, cause it to evolve? Oh, tricky question. I actually don't know. I think it does? Because then the item is consumed? Probability is 1 in 4,000. Pokemon known as Oricorio has 3 forms. Well, technically true, but it also has a 4th form, so false. If I get that wrong, though, then my score will be affected. Do you have anything you'd like to say about my class? I'm still getting used to this teaching thing, but I sure had fun as your teacher. Keep teaching. You can do it. Okay, time's up whether you like it or not. I hope everyone enjoyed tackling those questions. Wait, I stuck in a bonus question right at the end again. Shh, a little secret. Don't tell the director. I'll grade these right away. I hope you're all looking forward to seeing how you did. I don't think I got a full marks there. Feels great to get a test out of the way. We need to get 4 correct to pass. Oh, I got all of them right. Oh, cool. All right, cool. Cool. Experience candies, medium. Time for math with time.
Hello everyone, well done on the midterm exam. Some of you earned perfect scores, and others seem to have a bit of trouble, but I can tell that you all tried your best. I'm quite pleased to say that every last one of you passed. I can only assume that this means you all have come to love numbers. Stay sharp and try your best for the rest of my classes too. Speaking of staying sharp, do you know how that word applies to Pokemon battles? That's right, it has to do with stat boosts. Pokemon stats can rise and fall throughout the course of battle, correct? For example, if a Pokemon uses the move Work Up, its attack and special attack stats will rise by 1 stage each. And as you may know, each time a Pokemon's attack or special attack rate rises 1 stage, moves affected by that stat will deal 50% more damage. If that same Pokemon from our previous example were to use Work Up again, both its attack and special attack will have risen by 2 stages total. This results in a 100% increase to damage dealt, making its moves twice as strong. Swords Dance, on the other hand, boosts attack by 2 stages at once, allowing the Pokemon to deal double damage after just a single use. Using Swords Dance twice would boost the Pokemon's attack stat by 4 stages. How much more damage then would this Pokemon deal?
Wouldn't that be... It's 200% extra, so would that be triple damage?
Wow, that's great! You answered this difficult question with ease, What a Geek! Each stage that a Pokemon's attack or special attack stat is raised increases its damage by 50%. So being raised 4 stages would result in a 4 times 50% or 200% increase. The base damage of a move is 100%, So adding 200% to that gives us a 300%. In other words, the next move the Pokemon uses will deal triple damage. Type matchups, critical hit damage, and other factors all play into these calculations as well, so even a small boost must be taken seriously. By the way, if a stat simply rose, that means it's a flower. That has gone up by 1 stage. If it rose sharply, that's 2 stages. And if it rose drastically, that's 3 stages. Just so you know, the X attack and X special attack items, which can only be used in battle, can be used to sharply boost these respective stats. Oh my, is that the bell? I suppose that's all for now. What a shame, that's my other name. Today's lesson was a little difficult, so be sure to review what you learned in order to stay sharp. I'll see you all again next class.
I was expecting her to talk about how sharpness, the ability, affects damage of blade type attacks.
Hello everyone, let's have a fun class today. Did you make sure to review last class's material in order to stay sharp? I know it was a little difficult with all that talk of multiplication and percentages and the like, but today we'll be talking about percentages again to learn about probability. That may sound like we're going to have another difficult class, but did you know that all of you already deal with probability on a regular basis? Pokemon moves generally have a property called accuracy, which determines the probability that they will hit. The accuracy of tackle is 100, or 100%. So if you were to use tackle 100 times, you could expect it to hit all 100 times. The move Hypnosis, which puts opponents to sleep, has an accuracy of 60, or 60%. This means you could expect it to hit 60 times in 100 uses. To put that another way, out of 100 uses, you could expect it to miss 40 times. Many of the truly powerful moves often tend to have lower accuracy. So when you're deciding whether to go slow and steady with moves that are sure to hit, or hard and fast with stronger but less accurate moves, you're already studying probability. Let me see here. Perhaps Surf and Hydro Pump would be good examples for this discussion. Surf has a power of 90, its accuracy is 100, meaning you can expect it to hit every time. Hydro Pump's accuracy is only 80, but when it hits, its power is 110. So between Surf and Hydro Pump, which moves would you want to use yourselves? It depends on the situation. Oh my, I see you're always considering various possibilities, what a geek. I may have made it sound like there was a correct answer here, but there's not. You're free to use any moves you wish. Factors like power points or number of targets hit may make some moves more suited to certain situations. However, trading accuracy for power or vice versa is purely a matter of preference. This Surf versus Hydro Pump debate has been ongoing for quite some time.
What about Wing Attack versus Peck? Which one's better?
Personally, I'm more invested in debating the Rock-type moves Rock Slide and Stone Edge. Let me tell you, I could really get worked up talking about those moves, but oh my, there's the bell. What a shame, my other name. Next class will be the last of our time together, so show up 100% ready to go.
She would want to talk about rock-type attacks being an ex-rock-type gym leader, after all.
Hello everyone, I hope we can have fun once again today for our last class together. Last time we learned about probability, using move accuracy as an example. Probability is quite an interesting subject. Did you know that in a class with 40 students, there is a 90% chance that 2 of them will have the same birthday? This is true even despite the fact that there are over 300 days each year. Isn't that remarkable? But let's move on to today's topic before we get swept along with probability again. I've been teaching you all how to calculate damage in this class using examples like type matchups, critical hits, stat boosts, and the like. All of these variables are multiplied together to calculate damage dealt to an opponent. However, did you know that there is an even simpler way to increase the damage of your Pokemon's moves? All you have to do is have your Pokemon use a move it shares a type with. If a Rock-type Pokemon uses the Rock-type move Stone Edge, the move's base power of 100 is multiplied by 1.5 to become 150.
Now she's getting to talk about the things she really wants to talk about, rocks.
Ground and Rock may seem like similar types, but if a Ground-type Pokemon uses Stone Edge, the move's power will remain 100. Super effective moves and critical hits also add multipliers onto this little numerical increase, so it most certainly must not be taken lightly. Let me ask you a question to see if you understand what I'm talking about here. Say you have a move with a power of 100. If a Pokemon that shares a type with this move uses it and hits an opponent that is weak to that type, what happens to that move's power?
So let's see, it starts at 150 with Stab, but then it gets multiplied by 2 because it's super effective, so it's 300.
You did that calculation all in your head? Well done, what a geek! First, using a move that shares a type with its user multiplies the move's base power of 100 by 1.5, making the power 150. The fact that the opponent is weak to the move's type then doubles that power from 150 to 300. The original power of the move ends up being tripled. Isn't that amazing? What's more, if a Pokemon terastallizes and its Terra type matches one of its original types, then the bonus it gets for using a move of that same type increases from 1.5 to 2. And of course, being able to use a lot of moves with different types is great as well. That's one way you can surprise your opponent. In the end, your own innate characteristics are what will really let you shine the most. Bear in mind that this is true for both humans and Pokemon. It sure would make me happy if you could take those words to heart, but I suppose I should really have shared this basic advice right from our first lesson. My apologies. Just like that, class is over. The last of our time together flew by in the blink of an eye. It was so much fun to be able to teach all you eager students about numbers. Excuse me. Next class will be our fun final exam. Be sure to review the material well in preparation.
I'm reviewing all the material. Hello, Professor Psyduck. How you doing? Wow, wow.
Alright everyone, it's time to begin our final exam. I'm sure the fun experiences you all had in my class will serve you well as you answer.
How many Great Balls could you purchase with 3,000 if... Isn't that 5? Is this a trick question? If a water type move with power 100 lands a critical hit on a grass type, so it gets halved first and then 1.5'd. No, not even. It just gets halved. No, a critical hit. 75 then. It's not 50. In normal conditions, about 12% for Stone Edge. Pokemon uses Swords Dance twice. That would do triple damage. Yeah. Rock Pokemon, Rock terastallizes, it gets multiplied by 2.
Alright everyone, time is up. Put your hands on your laps now. This test was the culmination of all I taught you, and I'm sure you all did just fine. Do go and ask for your scores at the front desk and then take a nice break.
How'd I do?
Hey!
I will like to remind you that in real life I do not test well, so me nailing these first 2 finals is a bit of a surprise for me.
Greetings, my little students. Whatever you did yesterday, it is now a part of history. I was hoping to continue unraveling the marvels that history has presented to us today. However, I imagine your ability to concentrate has been spectacularly derailed by my midterm. I suppose changing things up for fun and variety may be a good idea every now and then. So allow me to tell you an old fairy tale that has been passed down in Paldea for generations. Once upon a time, there was a king who very much enjoyed collecting treasure. He was particularly fond of treasures from other countries. One day, a merchant from the east heard rumors of this king and came to meet him. The merchant laid out 4 treasures in front of the treasure-loving king. The 4 treasures were as follows: a vessel, a sword, a set of tablets, and a set of beads.
Hey, I can vessel!
That's not what I said. Seeing such rarities before him, the king leaped for joy. He showered the merchant with gold coins and claimed all 4 of the treasures for himself. Ah, eye contact. I said that one of the treasures was a set of tablets. What do you think these tablets were?
Wooden planks for writing on.
Correct. Your daily pursuit of knowledge serves you well. These particular tablets were wooden and used as a writing medium in the East in ancient times. As you may know, they fell out of popular use as paper became more universally available. For the king to consider these paper substitutes treasures, they must have been of superb quality. That, or perhaps they had some amazingly profound teachings written on them. So the king obtained these 4 treasures, and on that very night, it is said that a terrible disaster rained down upon his castle, reducing it to rubble by dawn. Oh, is that the time already? I wasn't done with my story, but alas, so ends today's lesson. If you are interested in how the story ends, you may come see me outside class hours.
What are your office hours, Miss Rayford? Need to know. You gotta learn about the extra lore of Paldea. Still haven't found my treasure yet. Maybe one of those treasures could be my treasure. Ugh.
Today we'll continue to unravel the marvels that history has presented to us. I trust that you all remember our lesson before the midterm exam concerning the great crater of Paldea and its interior, Area Zero. As a reminder, they're off limits. This mysterious crater captured the imaginations of many, including the former Paldean emperor. 200 years ago, a group of explorers claimed to have finally reached its depths. The name of the team that achieved this great feat was the Area Zero Expedition. The team is said to have been made up of Paldea's best and brightest. And for some reason it was the 33rd one, or maybe it was the 67th one, but they named it the 33rd. Skilled battlers, brilliant researchers, talented individuals of all kinds. Among the list of team members was the name of a man who was an author and brilliant natural historian, Heath. After returning from the expedition to Area Zero, he used his literary talent to record the events of the expedition and publish them. Eye contact. Let's see if you're paying attention. What was the name of the team that first made it to the deepest reaches of the Great Crater?
The Expedition 33, ma'am.
Correct. To pick up on and remember a term, I simply slipped into the flow of the lecture. You really are quite the clever one. The correct name for this team was the Area Zero Expedition. The record of their activities written by the expedition member Heath can be found in bookstores and the like even today. This record is now known as the Violet Book. At the time, the entire region of Paldea was absolutely buzzing about Area Zero. The Violet Book was so popular that practically everyone had a copy. However, the book itself was full of fantastical descriptions and illustrations of things that could never be thought of as real. The masses began to call Heath a liar. Even the truth of the expedition making it to the bottom of the crater was called into question. The Violet Book was condemned to the shelves of used bookstores as just another book of wild paranormal stories. There's a copy on one of the bookshelves on the ground floor of the entrance hall. Feel free to have a read if you're interested. That was that time already. This ends today's lesson. We will unravel more of history's enigmas together next time.
And for the last time, too, you forgot to mention that... Hello, I'm back.
Today is our last class, so I would like to unravel the marvels that history has presented to us one last time. In our last class, I taught you about the Area Zero expedition of 200 years ago, correct? The last 200 years is not that long ago. Not that long ago at all. In fact, I'm over that age.
What?
How unfortunate that our history lessons must march so inexorably toward the future. Would it not be more of an adventure to march toward the past instead? To start from our present and study history in reverse?
That might be hard to follow, because we're in the game where there are future Pokemon, not past.
Indeed, it may be difficult to understand the flow of events, how one thing leads to another, if we were to trace history in reverse. I suppose I have no choice but to let the flow of time carry us toward the future, especially in this universe. In this last class of ours, I shall fill your minds with the history of the terrestrial phenomenon. The technology behind Terra Orbs has its origins in Area Zero. Even after the Area Zero expedition supposedly reached the crater's deepest depths, others continued to explore that area, and around 140 years ago, Pokemon cloaked in a mysterious light were discovered there. As you may have already guessed, these were in fact terrestrialized Pokemon. However, when those who discovered these Pokemon brought them out of Area Zero, the light faded, and the terrestrial phenomenon remained a mystery for quite some time. However, 10 years ago, that might as well be present day, a certain someone you have definitely heard of unraveled this mystery. Aha, perfect timing to make eye contact. What was the name of the famous professor who unraveled the terrestrial phenomenon mystery?
That was obviously Professor Clavel. Well, Professor Hassel's not on here, so I guess it's Turo.
Correct! To think that you, a new transfer to our academy, could correctly answer this question. You must be very diligent in your studies. Approximately 10 years ago, a professor named Turo unraveled the mystery of the terrestrial phenomenon. He discovered that the shining crystals down in Area Zero, or rather the energy they emit, is what causes Pokemon to terrestrialize. This led the professor to invent Terra Orb technology, and to develop a practical use for it. This technology was then shared with both the Pokemon League and our academy. Rumor has it that Director Clavel was one of the researchers on the professor's team. Alas, this story is much less exciting now that someone we all know appears in it. Modern history truly is dull, isn't it? Thus ends my history classes. Our next session will be our final exam. Bring the wonders of history to the forefront of your minds in preparation.
Final exam.
Greetings, my little students. It's time for our final examination. Summon your historical knowledge from the dark recesses of your minds and answer the questions.
That's obviously the core area. How many years was this academy founded? Shoot, was that 805 years ago? Uh-oh, I don't remember. Which of these did not appear in the Paldean fairy tale? It was a folding fan. Which expeditions do you remember rode? That was Leaf, Thief, or Heath? He invented terror orbs 10 years ago. Time is up. Put your writing utensils down. You must excuse that last question. It is too shallow and ridiculous to be on a history test, but alas, the director forced me to include it. So ends our final examination. You may ask for your scores at the school's front desk. I got most of them right, that's for sure. So the big question is, did I get the 800? I did. It was 805 years ago. Ms. Rayford asked to get this reward, yada yada. It was a rounded number, like it was divisible by 5, so I figured that's the number they were trying to go for. Anything between numbers that are divisible by 5 just feels off, you know? How did you like the midterm exam? You all did really great. We're halfway there, and now time for another lesson. Êtes-vous prêt? Are you ready? Oui. Très bonne réponse. Réponse. Great answer. Merci, my friends. I knew I could count on you, stars. Leading up to the midterm, we learned all sorts of words from different regions, but we don't have names for these languages in this universe, I realized. Starting today, though, I'll be throwing a curveball, for we begin listening comprehension. Voici. Go for it, my assistant. Pikachu. As you just heard, Pokemon can also use words to communicate. It's not easy for us to understand them, but their words have meaning just as ours do. Pokemon can use language to share all kinds of information with each other, like the location of food or whether there may be predators nearby. The same Pokemon cries may sound different depending on what it wants to say. I'm sure you're all curious, so aujourd'hui, today, that is, let's learn some Pokemon language. Je t'en prie, if you would be so kind, Pikachu. What emotion do you suppose Pikachu is trying to convey just now? I'm gonna guess happiness. Sorry, Wakey-wakey, that is not right. Pokemon language is hard, isn't it? When Pikachu says... It's using its angry voice. That's right, I had my little Pikachu friend here pretend to be angry for us. It's very hard to hear with the volume the way it is on my screen, but... Don't you think he did a great job? Give Pikachu a round of applause, everyone! Clapping, clapping, clapping. The same Pokemon can even communicate its feelings in many different ways. Their voices change depending on their mood and physical condition. Try listening more carefully to Pokemon. You might gain a deeper understanding of them. That having been said, Pokemon are quite mysterious creatures. Some actually don't communicate with words at all, but instead use things like electromagnetic or ultrasonic waves. Some even use telepathy. And now, apropos of nothing, let me give you all one of my wise words of advice. If you poke at your Pokemon too many times while washing them during picnics, they'll get mad at you like Pikachu just demonstrated. Well, adios, matane, à la prochaine. See you later, everyone. Boy, am I gonna have to answer a question based on sound in the final exam? Or maybe several questions? My dear friends, how are all of you today? I hope you are doing marvelously well. It's time for another of Salvatore's language lessons. Êtes-vous prêt? Are you ready? Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself and adding a silent S to what I was saying. I would expect no less from my excellent friends. Even your replies to my questions are excellent. Aujourd'hui, today, we will once again be focusing on listening. Voici, go for it, my assistant. Pikachu. As you may remember from our last class, the same Pokemon's cries may sound different depending on what it wants to say. Aujourd'hui, today that is, we will be learning more about the language used by Pokemon. Je t'en prie, if you'd be so kind, Pikachu. That sounds a little bleak, doesn't it? Its voice seems a little lower pitched, too. What emotion do you suppose Pikachu was trying to convey just now? Sadness. Ding ding ding, that's right, Wakey-wakey, fantastique! When Pikachu says... It's expressing sadness. Kinda makes you want to cry, doesn't it? That's right, I had my little Pikachu cry as if it was crying! Haha, funny joke, right? Don't you think it did a great job? Give Pikachu a round of applause, everyone. Rat. Don't look so smug at me. And now, apropos of nothing, let me give you all one of my wise words of advice. If Sir, you said that one already. Oh, did I? My bad. If you hear one of your Pokemon making sad noises like this one, you should treat them with even more kindness than usual. Well, you probably already knew that, though. A piece of cake for you all, I'm sure. Of course, this goes for... Sorry, choked on some spit. This goes for your classmates and others as well. Friends should support each other in times of sadness. I truly hope that you can all have smiles on your faces all the time, my friends. Au prochain cours. Next lesson, that is, will be our final lesson together. I hope you're ready for the climactic finale. Adios, maintenant! Another class, please! Clearing my throat. Just don't want that choke to happen again. My dear friends, how are all of you today? It's time for the last of Salvatore's language lessons. Êtes-vous prêt? Are you ready? Oui. What a réponse fantastique! That's his other name. Great answer, that is. And aujourd'hui, today we'll once again be having a listening lesson. Voici, go for it, my assistant. Pikachu! Let's get right to it, my little Pikachu friend. For our last listening class, tell everyone how you're feeling right now, s'il te plaît. Ooh, can you feel that? That's one contagious emotion in Pikachu's voice. What emotion do you suppose Pikachu was trying to convey just now? Pain. I mean, happiness. Well done, Wakey-wakey. I'm so happy that you got it right. Haha, get it? Yeah, because I said happiness. When Pikachu says, it's expressing happiness. Doesn't it make you just want to break out into a happy dance? But I didn't have to ask Pikachu to put on an act today. Oh no. I simply asked it to show you all how it felt about getting to have class with you. Getting to meet so many new friends and study together in this class with you. It's made both me and my little Pikachu so very happy. And now, apropos of nothing, let me give you all one last wise word of advice. As you live your lives, I'm sure you'll all have times when you get mad or sad, maybe even more than you would like. Everything has its ups and downs, life is a veritable roller coaster. But à la fin, in the end, that is, there is surely happiness waiting for you. So gardez le sourire, keep a smile on your face, even in the hardest of times. When you're faced with a problem that you can't handle alone, find someone to rely on, be it a teacher, your family, your friends, anyone. Our prochain cours, next lesson, will be our final exam. Be sure to review what we learned in all our lessons so far. Adios, maintenant! Final exam. How much French are we gonna have to speak? How much listening am I gonna have to do? Looks like a lot of listening. Aujourd'hui, today, we take our final exam. Détendez-vous, relax that is, and do your best. Êtes-vous prêt? Are you ready? Let's begin. Gracias. Je t'aime, équilibrique. Time to eat. Piga was anger. That was happiness. Your beloved teacher's name? Labrador, I believe. C'est fini, time is up. Posez-vous stylos. Put down your pens, that is. I assume the obligatory dernier question, last question that is, gave you no trouble. As I said, my name is Whoops. Giving away the answer to that soon. I'm sure you all did great. Bravo, my friends. You can get your scores at the school's front desk. What are the results? 5 out of 5. I'm doing good so far. Emphasis on so far. It's where you sit in the living room. You're so far. Anyway. Enough of that.
Another day, another round of battle study. Os, let's get right to it. Y'all gave everything you had on the midterm exams. Well done. We'll resume our regular classes today, so keep up that energy for the second half of the term. Have y'all been using the R button to send out your Pokemon? Notice that Nimona now has Palmot and my mice are chilling out with me. If you do, your Pokemon will run off in the direction you're facing. Oh, Penny's here with Leafeon. I didn't even realize. It's a super useful tactic that lets your Pokemon pick up faraway items for you. And that's not all. If there's a wild Pokemon near where you sent your Pokemon, they'll start battling each other. We call those battles auto battles. Just as the name implies, your Pokemon will act on its own during auto battles, meaning you won't have to give it any commands. And if your Pokemon wins, it'll get experience points just like it would in a regular battle. If you make good use of these battles, they can be a really efficient way to train your party. But you'll want to remember that Pokemon won't evolve or learn new moves right away if they level up from an auto battle. Also, if a Pokemon loses an auto battle, it'll come back with just a small amount of HP left. Make sure to heal it up right away. Whoops, I just about did the whole class as a one-sided lecture. Does anyone have any questions so far? Can I catch wild Pokemon? If you let your Pokemon battle on its own, it'll keep going until its opponent is defeated. If you want to catch a wild Pokemon, you'll need to battle by issuing commands instead. Even during auto battles, our Pokemon are out there battling for us. They're trainers. Keep an eye on them as much as possible, and if it looks like they're going to lose, be sure to have them retreat. Also, this goes without saying, but Pokemon with low HP are already worn out. They probably won't enjoy auto battles as much, so don't work them too hard, okay? In conclusion, auto battles only work if a trainer and their Pokemon have a relationship of mutual trust. Be smart with how you use your auto battles so you don't lose the trust of your Pokemon. Oh man, I was about to suggest we do some hands-on practice to really drive the point home, which I know Nemona would like, but I guess we've run out of time as usual. Class is over for now, take care, you little rascals. Man, the stark difference between, like, Riolu, Rockruff, Meowth, Squavit, and then fully evolved Leafeon, fully evolved Palmont. Like, you can tell, just not even by looking at the characters themselves, but by the Pokemon, who the main characters here are. Another day, another round of battle study. Us! Let's get right to it. I hope you gave auto battles a shot like we talked about last class. Making good use of auto battles will let you train up a bunch of different Pokemon. It's also an efficient way to gather the Pokemon materials you need to make TMs at TM machines. Speaking of which, have you all been using the TM machines? I sure hope so, because it's pop quiz time. To create TMs, you need Pokemon materials and one other thing. Anyone remember what that is? HP. It's LP. Looks like you're already a TM Machine Pro, new kid. The correct answer is League Points, or LP for short. You can give LP and Pokemon materials to a TM machine to create TMs. But that's not all. You can also exchange Pokemon materials at a TM machine to get LP. I recently heard about some shady individuals getting LP illegally using a technique called hacking, or something like that. Is Penny still here? I don't want any of you getting involved in bad stuff like that, got it? She is conveniently off screen if she is here. Anyway, you can also add TMs that you want to make to your watch list. This will let you keep an eye on the materials you need to gather. In conclusion, in order to make TMs, you need Pokemon materials. If you want to get hold of lots of materials, you'll have to battle all kinds of Pokemon. Aw man, I should have to fight Nemona. Class is over for now, take care you little rascals.
More PE, please. Arvin's here with the boss stuff.
Os! This is our last class, but don't let those energy levels drop before we wrap things up. You've shown that you have more than enough knowledge to be super strong battlers. I don't know that I have much left to teach you, but we can always aim for ever greater heights. So today, I'm going to teach you about the rules of link battles. When two trainers participate in link battles together, they can engage in either single battles or double battles with each other. And if you're playing in a group of 4, you can all battle each other in multi-battles. Now, when you're out having battles during your independent study, you can use whatever number of Pokemon you like, and they can be of any level. But in link battles, there are special rules to keep in mind. Some of these special rules involve adjusting Pokemon levels. Now, the no restrictions rule set lets all Pokemon stay at their current level. It lets trainers use multiple Pokemon of the same species and multiples of the same held item too. But if you choose to use normal rules, all Pokemon will be set to level 50 for your battles, regardless of what level they actually are. This includes even lower level Pokemon. They'll get a power boost to participate. Normal rules let you use multiples of the same Pokemon species and of the same held items too. The great part about this rule set is that it lets any of your Pokemon participate. All they have to do is learn some good moves. Lastly, the rule set called Flat Rules mostly affects Pokemon over level 50. Such Pokemon will be set to level 50 for the duration of the battle. The Flat Rules rule set is the one often used for official tournaments. This rule does not allow trainers to use multiple Pokemon of the same species or multiples of the same held item. Alright, here's a question for you. Which rule set should you pick if you want to use a lower level Pokemon and keep its level low? Flat Rules. That's the one, new kid. Looks like you were listening to the lesson.
That's how Fear came to be. Focus, Sash, Endeavor, Quick Attack, Rattata.
If you got some clever strategy that you need to use a level 5 Pokemon for, your best bet is to choose the Flat Rules rule set.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, you can also choose no restrictions if you want to battle with any Pokemon you want, at any level and with any held item. That's a pretty good rule set for when you want to battle freely with friends. In conclusion, normal rules adjust all Pokemon to level 50. Flat rules let you use lower level Pokemon at their actual levels. I hope you use these tips to have some exciting battles with your friends. Oh man, I was about to go... Never mind. I was about to go hang out with my best friend Tulip. Our next class will be our final exam. Aim for a perfect score. Os! Os!
Time to take a PE final.
It's finally game day. Today is our final exam. Time to put on your game faces and do battle with those test sheets.
This one is go all out. Out we go. These are auto battles. LP is hack the system. Exchange materials. High level Pokemon are adjusted to 50, and normal rules, you can use Pokemon of the same species, true. Time's up, put your pencils down. So you're giving it everything you've got. I'm sure you'll all get perfect scores. You all did so well in my class. If you pass this test, you'll officially be Battle Masters. Now go ask for your surely stellar scores at this front desk, you little rascals. Can't wait for one of these exams where I'm like, yeah, I did perfectly, and then get one question wrong. That'll be a complete, there we go. That'll be a complete downer for me. Like, oh god, I'm not the best! No! Alright, 2 more classes. We got art and home ec. Mr. Elite Four, is he gonna be wearing his gloves? He's not. Hello class, it is I, Hassel, yet again. I'm pleased to say that everybody did well in the midterm exams. As a reward for all of your hard work, we have a special guest visiting us today, Professor Gibble. Now then, Brassy, please come in. Brassius, greetings! Well, makes sense. Art class. Art maker. Artist. There we go. I am Brassius. I am an artist, and I focus exclusively on grass-type Pokemon for my work. Brassius here mainly creates 3-dimensional pieces such as statues and the like. One of his major works is the installation titled Surrendering Sunflora, found in Artisan. Many of you who've challenged the Artisan gym are no doubt familiar with these sculptures. Yes, I do recognize some faces among your students. I hope you all understand how fortunate you are to be able to attend Hass's classes. Old Hass is the man who saved me when I had lost all hope and given up on myself. He is my muse. But he never gave up on me. I do not exaggerate when I say that he is my mentor in life. It is precisely thanks to Hass that I was able to establish my current art style. Sorry, stumbled over my words a little bit. Ah, dear Brassy. I've nothing against reminiscing about old times, but today I hope you will guide this class in a way only you can. Of course. Let's see. Why don't we discuss what Haas mentioned, surrendering Sunflora. Can anyone here tell what my mood was when I crafted its detached expression? I'm gonna say a happy mood, because that seems the least likely. No, completely and utterly wrong. When I made that sculpture, I had surrendered all hope. I was prepared to give up everything. I'd resolved to give up my life as an artist if that piece did not receive proper recognition. Hence the name Surrendering Sunflora? That's exactly it, Haas. When I started out as an artist, I experienced many hardships. I even became deathly ill and fell into a slump that drove me to desperation. I began worrying about only what would sell. I was concerned only with fame and fortune. But all of my pieces during this time had no depth. They were all shallow trash. It was then that I met Haas. He helped me realize how petty I was being. I'll spare you the details, but in the end, I was able to leave all that behind. And that is also when I crafted the Sunflora. Remarkable. Even I did not know the full story until now. This kind of thing is hard to tell someone, especially when they are so close to you. Now, I don't doubt that you adolescents will often find your heads crowded with worries. My advice to you is simple. Be honest with yourself, and do whatever your heart desires. So long as you don't cause trouble, that is. That is all from me. I must admit I am beginning to feel a bit embarrassed. So, I bid you farewell, Haas. And farewell to your pupils as well! Leaps out a window, does a flip. Oh, Brassy, I can't believe it. Such a wonderful class thing. Thank you so much! I guess we'll just leave. We'll come back in a couple hours, take another class. Hi, Arvin. Oh, and the two guys with the pencils. They're not even holding the pencils. They have an open hand. One of them doesn't even have a pencil. And they're just writing. Look at them go. Oh, man, they're so talented at write. I think the girl next to them is also doing something similar. Open hands, no pencil. Hello, class. It is I, Hassel, yet again. How are you all doing that? First, allow me to apologize for losing my composure during our last class. I was so touched by Brassius' story that I simply couldn't contain my emotions. I'm sorry for making such a scene. I certainly got a very stern talking to from Miss Time after that class, yes. Who runs this school? Time or Clavel? Anyway, let us shift gears and dive into the material for today's class. Now, have any of you heard of the 10 sites of Paldea? As the name would imply, there are 10 sites in Paldea that are considered particularly beautiful. Among them, I would say that the Grand Olive Orchard is likely the most accessible. You can see field after field of olive trees from the hill all the way to Cortondo. 2 waterfalls are also counted among these 10 sites, Fury Falls and Casaroya Falls. Then there's the peak of Glaciado Mountain, known as Paldea's highest peak. There's another cliff on Glaciado Mountain that's named after its rather unique shape. So let me ask you, my students, what is the name of the 3-pronged cliff on Glaciado Mountain? No need to grasp at straws. The grasp, because you just said grasp. Exactly! Looks like a hand taking hold of something, doesn't it, What a Geek? The 3-pronged cliff on Glaciado Mountain is in fact known as Glaciado's Grasp, though its shape is far too stubby to be that of a human hand. I imagine someone thought it looked like a Pokemon hand grabbing something. There's also the mountains in Area 3 of the East Province, where you can get a good look at Levincia. It's particularly gorgeous at night. In fact, the view is so brilliant, it is known as the Million-Volt Skyline. I hear it's quite a hotspot for dates, and deservedly so for having such a romantic view. I imagine it's, what do the kids say these days, a very fleek selfie spot? Of course, you may feel that not all 10 sites live up to their grandiose names. How often do we visit some tourist spot only to be disappointed? Not to say that you shouldn't visit them, only that you should keep your hopes in check. The important thing is to go yourself and see them with your own 2 eyes. And sometimes a disappointing experience can be worthwhile in its own way. Take a chance. Well, that's it for today, class. Thank you for your attention. Alright, final art class, let's do it. Oh, they've grabbed their pencils, but one of them is still missing a pencil. Hello, class, it is I, Hassel, yet again. My, how time flies, as they say. Indeed, our time together has certainly flown by. It's hard to believe that this is our last class. Now, our topics for today may feel somewhat unrelated to art. Hi, Penny. But there's absolutely no set definition as to what art should be. Therefore, let us carry on with the discussion and see where it takes us. There are 2 things I wish to focus on today: ribbons and marks. Both ribbons and marks are special honors that capture a Pokemon's qualities. There will be times when your Pokemon gives maximum effort or has a noteworthy experience. In recognition of its feats and accomplishments, it can be given a ribbon. To give an example, if you manage to become incredibly close to a Pokemon, it may be granted the Best Friends ribbon. Incidentally, there's a person in Cascaratha who can give your Pokemon a Best Friends ribbon. Marks, on the other hand, are mostly found on wild Pokemon when you meet them for the first time. They can symbolize the character of a Pokemon, such as with the Rowdy Mark or the Vigor Mark. It's completely up to luck whether you'll run into a Pokemon with these marks. So if you're able to catch a Pokemon with a mark, rejoice at your outstanding fortune. Does anyone know what special thing you can do with Pokemon that have ribbons or marks? You can change their title. Wonderful, What a Geek, your knowledge is impressive. The correct answer is that Pokemon with ribbons or marks can be given titles, like our various Titan Pokemon, former Titan Pokemon. What's more, they can be sent into battle displaying a title of your choosing. For example, you can send out a Gibble with the Best Friends ribbon by declaring, "Go, Gibble the Great Friend!" And while I know I just said that marks are generally found already on Pokemon when you meet them for the first time, it seems that more recently, Pokemon can be awarded certain marks based on their efforts. There are marks such as the Gourmand Mark, the Item Finder Mark, the Partner Mark, and so on. Perhaps it might be fun to try to work out how to get each mark using its name as a clue. Well, that just about wraps up our last class. Next is the final exam. Please review our material closely so that you pass on your first try. I will attempt. Without reviewing, haha! I do hope you're all ready because it is time for your final exam. Focus and do your best. And to begin.
The Treasure Eatery is the name of the restaurant. Brassy signature, blah, 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 surrendering Sunflora. How many waterfalls are 2 of them? At least that's what he was implying. The Million Volt Skyline is in Levincia, because that's the Electric Town city. The marks a Pokemon has are present when you first meet, and none can be added later. That's false.
Time's up. That's it for today's test. Pencils down, please. Thank you all so much for learning about art with me. The time we shared has left a mark that I will treasure, I promise you, and it is my sincere wish that all of you go on to even greater, more prosperous futures. And that's that. Good work, everyone. Hey, quit writing over there. You can receive your results from the front desk.
She just kept going. She's just continuing to write. She just loves writing.
How'd I do? Yay! Alright, one more exam. Maybe I'll flunk it. We'll see. Omek. Misaguaro. On a slightly related note, please go watch Bullet Train, the movie. Put away your phones, it's time to begin class. Though some of you had to retake the midterm exam multiple times, I'm glad to say that the majority of the class passed without issue. I feel honored to see that the knowledge and skills indispensable for daily life have taken root in all of you. I suggest that you will all work just as hard as your life skills in the second half of our course as well. Let us now turn our attention to the topic of the day, which was inspired by a question I received on the subject of meal powers. The student who asked this question is a young man who enjoys the culinary arts. He tells me that he regularly researches culinary techniques on his own, and pays careful attention to the ingredients he uses. His name is Arvin. I said not to be mentioned. Oh, my bad. He also spends day and night studying all aspects of the culinary arts. Yet despite this, he is baffled by his inability to increase the effectiveness of his meal powers. So tell me, Master Wargeek, since you did quite well in your midterm exam, what should this young man, do to increase the effectiveness of his meal powers?
Arvin? He should make food with other people.
Perfectly correct. I see that you are knowledgeable about the culinary arts. To increase the effectiveness of meal powers, your sandwiches must be filled with many different ingredients. For a single person, this may prove difficult, but if you prepare a sandwich with others, you will be able to handle a larger serving of bread. With a larger base to start with, it becomes quite simple to add more ingredients to your sandwich, which in turn makes it possible to receive meal powers of increased effectiveness. This applies more broadly as well. When dealing with a difficult issue, working with others to solve that issue may be the best course of action. I am sure that Arvin will likewise work with friends to craft his sandwiches in the future. Oh. Forget you heard that. The identity of the male student is a matter of privacy, so I would ask that you do not pry too deeply. Leave the boy alone about his poor meal powers. His weak meal powers, as it were. His god-awful meal powers. Do not talk to him about his meal powers. Our time together has come to an end for today. I bid you all farewell. Arvin, see me after class. I've got some ingredients for you to try about your meal powers. Put away your phones, it's time to begin class. While you're out performing field work with one of your Pokemon walking alongside you, have you ever noticed changes in its coloration? Now, I don't mean that it suddenly becomes a shiny Pokemon or any nonsense like that. I'm speaking of it becoming filthy. Pokemon battle. They get hurt by moves used against them. They get battered by wind and rain. They get covered in sand and mud. They get, in a word, filthy. I've seen many a trainer walking about with their adorable little Pokemon without addressing this issue. It is deplorable. Let me ask this question as someone who I am sure would not tolerate such shameful conduct. Ah yes, Master Wargeek. What should you do if your Pokemon is dirty? Clean it up. Perfectly correct. I knew I could count on you to provide me with such an answer. When your Pokemon are dirty, clean them. This is, of course, simply common sense. When you are having a picnic, you can approach the Pokemon on your team and perform a variety of actions. One such action is putting them through what I like to call the Pokemon wash. In other words, you are able to clean them up. You start by getting your sponge lathered up with soapy bubbles as you gently and carefully scrub your Pokemon. Once your Pokemon is nice and covered in soapy bubbles, the bubbles will encapsulate the filth, then you simply wash it away with a spray of water. This will get your Pokemon clean and shining bright as a Terra Jewel. It is certainly quite a bit of work, but this will also restore HP and cure status conditions. However, some Pokemon may have parts of their bodies that they don't want scrubbed or that they would rather not get wet. Be sure to keep this in mind when cleaning your Pokemon. Now, the most important part that I must mention is that some Pokemon like to be dirty. Though I will contradict myself by saying this, please do remember that cleaning your Pokemon is not always the kind thing to do. Our time together has come to an end for today. I bid you all farewell. Last class of home ec with Mr. Saguaro.
El Saguaro. It's Saguaro.
Put away your phones, it's time to begin our last class together. Home economics is the study of life's necessities, but looking back on our time together, I realize that I focused almost entirely on food. I hope it is not too late to shift to a discussion of clothing, another necessity, in our last class. As I'm sure you're aware, our academy has an air of freedom about it. We provide uniforms for each season to accommodate the diverse climate of Paldea. However, students are free to wear whichever style they wish whenever they please. Except for your uniforms. You should have all received 4 sets of tops and bottoms, one each for spring, summer, fall, and winter, when the Academy accepted you. If by chance you were not aware of this, you may wish to peruse your wardrobe. As long as you wear our school uniform, the rest of your ensemble need not be school issued. This includes your bag or your hat, if you choose to wear one. You're even free to style your hair however you wish. Mr. Salvatore's hairstyle, for example, would almost certainly have been against school rules when I was a boy. That reminds me, my hair goes against school regulations. There's one more thing you all like to decorate, which I must say I find quite charming. Our Rotom phones? Perfectly correct, that's the adorable little thing I was speaking of. Oh, it interests me so. I must admit that I'm fascinated by Rotom phones and how to customize them. What's that? How very intriguing. So there's a shop called Delibird Presents where you can purchase cases for your Rotom phones? Thank you for that useful bit of information, student who shall not be named. I shall have to go myself first thing tomorrow to get an adorable case of my own liking. Forgive me, I seem to have gotten a little carried away with this small talk. Ahem. As this class known as Home Economics nears its end, I offer these final words to you who have been honing everyday life skills with me. My field of study is not so decisive as the likes of mathematics, for instance, where test scores might play a part in deciding your future. However, as you go on to cook for yourselves, to take care of your Pokemon, to decide what to wear in the morning when you awaken, I would be honored if what I have taught you serves to smoothen out and enrich your lives, even if only a little. This sentiment was imparted to me by Mr. Hassel and his particular outlook on such matters. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for seeing this class through to the end. Our time together has come to a close for today. Final exam of the cooking class. Put it in very blunt terms, I realize. The time has come to test how well you have all learned in my class. Let's begin before the information simmering in your brains from our last-minute cram session fades. Oh, how nice of you. The sparkling power. This is, it makes eggs... No. Helps hatch strong Pokemon. Simply an important tactic for increasing the effectiveness, make food with others. Correct action to take, Pokemon Dash. No one wants to play that again. They'll ruin their DS screens. Question about Academy rules. Should you change your uniform tops and bottoms to properly match each season? It doesn't matter. The time for answering questions has come to an end. Please stop writing. I made the questions a little easier than I'd planned to, as a way of saying thank you for informing me about Rotom phone cases. Alright, thanks. I trust that you all gave this exam everything you had, so you will not have to retake it. Score, 2 of 5. Dang it! Please remember to ask for your scores at the front desk before leaving for the day. Alright, how'd I do? Finals. 5 out of 5! Didn't miss a single exam question over both midterm and finals. Hoo boy! I'm so good. I have this for you from Director Clavel. Ooh. Experience Candy L. That's great. I could get those from raids now. Hey, you can focus all your efforts on this year's treasure hunt. Be careful out there. I could also retake classes if I really want to. Oh, there's Rayford. And Hassel. What are they both doing out here? Hi, Hassel. Oh, why hello there, young Wakey-wakey. I'm sorry, I was lost in thought and didn't notice your approach. I feel I must again apologize for what transpired in the schoolyard. That was weeks ago. That is very magnanimous of you. Sir, I'm 10 years old. I don't know what that word means. Oh, you see, you is a second-person pronoun. No, sir, never mind. That woman who showed up is a dragon tamer, and a relative of mine, I might add. Nurse Miriam, behind the bookshelf, off to the side there, seems very ominous. You see, I come from a very long line of trainers who specialize in dragon-type Pokémon. There was a child in our family who was expected to stand at its head and lead it to greatness. But the young lad, rebellious little fellow that he was, ran away from home one day. He made quite the show of it too, swearing he'd make a living with music. A lot happened since then, and now he's the art teacher and Elite Four member before you. After I so rudely took my leave during our last conversation, my dear relative encouraged me to give up teaching and return home at last. I've been told the current leader of my family, that is to say my father, is in poor health. Oh, but I do apologize. Perhaps I am not cut out for teaching after all. What sort of teacher grumbles on and on at his own student? You're a great teacher. Oh, my dear Wakey-wakey, you have no idea how much your words mean to me. Thank you. Thank you so very much. I'm trusted! Yay! Hi, Assel. Hi, Rayford. Why, if it isn't Wakey-wakey from Class 1A. Are you perhaps interested in the rest of the old tale I told you in class? Yes. Tell me about these, treasures. It is convenient that you would take the bait I presented in class. You're on the hook this time. A vessel, a sword, a set of tablets, and a set of beads. After obtaining these 4 treasures, the king's castle was destroyed. Why, you ask? Because these 4 treasures were actually 4 Pokémon. As these Pokémon were passed from human hand to human hand as treasures, they slowly became tainted by hubris and greed. Finally, after coming in contact with the rapacity of the king at the time, they awakened as disasters and began to rampage out of control. The king called for renowned Pokémon wielders to defend the country, and, after a fierce battle, these incarnations of disaster were quelled. It is said that these 4 Pokémon were then sealed away somewhere in Paldea. So, what do you think? Would you say this story is just make-believe? No. I believe it actually happened, because I want more Pokémon for my Pokédex. Very astute of you. I have read many historical disaster reports, personal journals, and the like. There's much to support the truth of this story. If I am able to prove the story's veracity myself, I will be sure to let you know. Even closer! Heck yeah! Can I talk to her again? Wakey-wakey, the time has come. Wow, no time passed and she's ready to go. The cursed treasures, the 4 Pokémon of ruin. They exist! Oh wow, no kidding, huh? And I stumbled upon the truth in the newspaper of all places. Ha! In an interview piece with a carpenter, no less. Jesus? The Pokémon wielders apparently used sacred stakes to seal these treasures of ruin in shrines. Oops. Might have pulled a couple of those. There's a separate shrine for each of the 4 Pokémon, and 8 stakes driven into the ground in the areas surrounding each shrine keep the power of ruin at bay. Make that 7 in a couple of areas. Oh yeah, that's the one. It's gone now. In other words, if all of the stakes for a given shrine were to be removed, it would release the Pokémon held inside. Don't you think it would be nice to free those Pokémon from the confines of their tiny little shrines, Wakey-wakey? Yeah, sure, ruin. Sounds nice. A kind soul, I see. You are proving truly useful. According to a descendant of the Pokémon wielders in the story, you must have a bond with Pokémon in order to remove the stakes. I'm sure someone as Pokémon savvy as yourself would have no trouble at all with that. You can choose for yourself whether to believe me or not, but I will mark the locations of these shrines on your map. Oh, black and white film grain door. We've seen one of them before. I'd rather go myself, of course, but skipping out on my classes to go adventuring seems to have made the director a little suspicious of me. You can think of it as part of your treasure hunt. Treasures of ruin are still treasures after all. I hope you will investigate these shrines if you are at all inclined to do so. We're trusted! So yeah, we can check our map here, and we can see that now the Grass Wither Shrine over here, the Fire Scourge Shrine over here, the Ground Blight Shrine, and the Ice Rend Shrine are all added to the map. Unfortunately, this doesn't add the locations of any of the stakes, which would be much more appreciated, but you can only really do so much with that, I guess. Are we done with you, Hassel? We sure are. Oh, sorry, I was lost in thought. Anyone else around here? Any teachers, I mean? Because Cyrano is right there. Oh, I can talk to Rayford again? Oh, wait, Miriam's here. Duh. I'll talk to Miriam in a second. Nope. Nothing with Rayford. Alright, Miriam, what's up?
Oh, hey, what a geek. Sorry, were you looking for me? I've been away from the nurse's office lately. Did you need something from me?
Yes.
Are your Pokemon hurt? Just a sec.
Thanks.
Here you go, a little first aid. You must really be having an adventure out there, judging from those scrapes and cuts. Huh? Oh yeah, I guess it is pretty unusual for me to be out of the nurse's office like this. Well, I'm actually doing a bit of studying. Thought I'd try my best at the health teacher's certification exam one more time.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Just so you know, it's totally not because I'm inspired by a certain somebody working hard at their treasure hunt, okay? Well, maybe I am just a little bit. So, you know, thanks. Yeah. Uh-oh, my break time's almost over. I know you'll be cheering me on, what a geek.
And we're trusted. I think that's the indicator to say, yep, you're done with that teacher. So, we helped Nurse Miriam. Heck yeah. I think the entrance hall is going to constantly have Rayford in it until we get all the treasures of Ruin going. Time, how you doing? Ms. Time, excuse me.
What, you scared me.
Are you here to eat?
Oh no, I'm not here for anything food-related at all. I was just walking around the entrance hall, and I felt that intense gaze that I told you about before. So I quickly ducked into the cafeteria here. Our cafeteria only has one entrance, so I thought I might be able to discover the identity of the person watching me if they followed me in here. Someone's come just now. Huh? That's weird. I thought I saw her come in here. I guess I won't be able to ask my question today either. That girl, I feel like I've seen her several times before. She seems to be a student here.
What, you couldn't tell by the uniform?
But I get the feeling that her question is not about her studies. Next time I see her, maybe I'll go start up a conversation myself. It could have been a little scary being here on my own. I'm glad you were here with me.
Trusted? Oh, that's it? Oh, okay. Well, a bit of a shame. That's fine, I guess. Yeah, Rayford's still out there. Did she have to move positions to do anything, or...? Yeah, I guess it is. We have to figure out the treasures and then come back to her. So she's going to be on the map for a while. Okay, biology lab. Wait. Salvatore, what are you doing in here? This is Jacques. Oh, duh. Oh, my dear What-a-Geek. Thanks to your advice from before, Palmy is, well, just see for yourself. It's mute. Seems very quiet. Yeah, it's feeling better, but this particular Palmy may just be a bit meek, I suppose. I had Nurse Miriam take a look as well, and she says there's nothing wrong with it health-wise. So it shouldn't have any injuries, ailments, or the like. Even so, it never utters so much as a cry, which is odd. That part even has Mr. Jacques here stumped. Sorry that I couldn't be any help. Ne t'inquiète pas. Don't worry about it. I have some more information now thanks to the Academy's security cameras, though. It seems Palmy was attacked by a wild Pokemon and fled here to the Academy grounds. Maybe it's still in a bit of shock from that experience and can't bring itself to speak yet? Yep, if that's the case, there's absolutely no problem with keeping quiet. Pas de problème. We can just attendre, wait, that is, until it feels like talking. That's all we can do, really. Even if you can speak all sorts of languages, there's no guarantee that you can understand what's going on in someone's heart. But have no fear, I won't give up. No, I'll keep on trying until we've figured each other out. Yay. Oh, Jacques. Jacques. Oh yeah, we still gotta do that for him. Guess we're gonna have to come back to several of these teachers in a bit. Art room! With Hassel. Hey sir, nice battle at the Pokemon League. Why hello there, What-a-Geek. You always seem to appear at the most crucial of moments. Most crucial of moments? You mean there's more to talk to you about? Well, you see. Ah! Master Hassel, I'm here to collect you. So I see. I'm glad that you finally made up your mind about taking your place as leader of the family. Well, It is indeed true that I have made up my mind. I have made up my mind to continue teaching here at the Academy.
How could you? Are you saying that you don't care what happens to our proud lineage?
I am saying that I have other priorities. Have a look around at the art decorating this room, would you? The children here are letting their senses, their perceptiveness, grow freely. I do not wish to say that protecting our family's ancient bloodline is of no importance. I simply wish to see young talent blossom and grow into the future. It just seems so much more fun to me, if I'm being honest.
What utter nonsense.
Shut up!
And yet, your fearless, unflinching commitment to that nonsensical vision proves that you're worthy of carrying the will of the dragons, Master Hassel.
That's better.
I will not give up. I will come as many times as I need in order to change your mind.
Oh, by all means, my door is open. I think you'll soon find you've met your match in stubbornness. You thought I could be cowed by some story spun up about my father's deteriorating health. I am not so easily fooled.
I will return another day.
She deceived him about the dad dying? Oh, I'm sorry you had to see all that. I was so very close to resigning my post as teacher and returning to my home. But the students here gave me courage to say no. That includes you, Wakey-wakey. Your words truly brought me strength. I cannot think of a way I can possibly repay my debt to you young ones. Take this if you will, insufficient as it may be in expressing the full breadth of my gratitude. Whoa, buddy! Now then, let it be clear to all. I, Hassel, will continue on my chosen path as instructor to the youths of the world.
Close bond! Yeah, we're best friends! I believe the reward you get from all the teachers is different depending on the teacher giving it. But 50 Dragon Terra Shards, that means we can turn any of our Pokemon's Terra type into Dragon right now, if we really want to. Because it does cost 50 Terra Shards to change a type. Oop, got a couple of people in staff room. Let's start with Salvatore.
My dear Wakey-wakey, Palmy here is as healthy as it can be.
Well, it seems being quiet is simply a part of this one's personality, but it's hard for a Pokemon to communicate with its fellows without speaking up. As you know, wild Pokemon use their cries to tell each other all sorts of things, like the location of food or whether there are predators nearby. So even if I were to release it back into the wild, I'm afraid that it may not be able to do those sorts of things.
What do you think, Wakey-wakey? Where does Palmy belong?
With you, Mr. Salvatore!
Oh? I didn't expect to hear mon nom, my name. So do you think it should stay here, with me? I was so focused on getting it back in good health so it could return to the wild that I didn't even consider that possibility. What do you think about that idea, my little Palmy friend?
It spokes! It spake!
Palmy, it spoke, at last! Even without speaking Pokemon language myself, I know that reply means yes! Oh, my dear Wakey-wakey, merci so very, very much for all your help with Palmy! All the more reason you should have this. Here, a rare Pokemon for you to raise.
A whole ass Meowth. I believe that's actually a Galarian, or maybe a Alolan Meowth.
I'm so happy. Yes, I, Salvatore, will take it upon myself to look after Palmy for good. I will indeed.
Yay! So instead of 50 Dragon Terra Shards, we got a Meowth. There it is. It's Galarian Meowth. Look at him go. Look at her go, rather.
So if you wanted to raise a Berserker, yeah, go for it. Just be friends with the language teacher. Sounds like a move I'd do.
Oh, Master Wakey-wakey. There's something I would very much like to ask for your help with. You see, I accidentally ratted out a student's name in class and... Oh, you were in that one.
You need my help?
Well, you see, I do not want anyone to overhear this, but I heard rumors of an incredibly sweet condiment that exists somewhere in the Paldea region. I absolutely must experience that ambrosial sweetness for myself. You're the only one who knows of my insatiable sweet tooth. Thus, I have no one else I can turn to for help in this matter. I cannot go looking for this condiment myself, lest I destroy the image students have of me. I will repay you for your troubles, of course. Give it some thought if this piques your interest. In the meantime, I'll gather what information I can about this incredibly sweet condiment. I'll share what I find with you as soon as I have more detailed information.
We're trusted, but we can't do anything more until we bring him the sweet thing, which happens to be an Herba Mystica. We're gonna have to come back to that later.
Clavel!
Clive? No, not Clive.
Thank you for the visit, Master Wakey-wakey.
A good friend of mine has been telling me of your recent exploits. You mean Clive? I'll leave their identities to your imagination. But we already... Never mind. But now, lest I forget, there is another matter I would very much like your opinion on. Do you know what manner of gentleman's hairstyle is considered cool, as it were, among the youth these days? Giant pompadours. I don't know, honestly. Not bowl cuts. Those look ugly. Long locks, maybe. Oh, is that so? I suppose I have indeed seen some of the Academy's male students sporting such a style. Could it be then that the pompadour has already had its day in the sun? Perhaps I ought to consider a change of wig. That is to say, never mind. Thank you for your insight, Master Wakey-wakey. It was most enlightening. You got anything more for me, Director, sir? Thank you again for your outstanding work on Operation Starfall. I cannot tell you how relieved I am that we were able to help Miss Penny as we did. And I know she is exceedingly grateful to you for your part in all this. So I have one more thing to ask of you, though the request is admittedly of a delicate nature. Do you think you could continue being good friends with Miss Penny as you have thus far? You bet. I must say, I truly am glad to have you as one of my students at the Academy. I believe you've more than earned this small token of my appreciation. Thanks, $10,000. I hope that you will always stay just as wonderful as you are now, Master Wakey-wakey. Close bond with Clavel! Now, if only I can get this close with Clive. Then we'd be in business. We still got Dendra and Time and... No, Miriam? Are we done with Miriam? That feels odd. Oh, there they are.
No way, no way, no way! Come on, Miriam, just try it.
Ms. Dendra.
Oh, great timing, new kid. Nurse Miriam here won't try the sandwich I made. Well, duh, I don't want to get a stomach ache. You know how many kids you sent to my office? You won't, probably. I still remember that sandwich you made me with meat filling and meat for bread. That one really messed me up bad. I hadn't trained in the art of sandwich making yet back then. I was young and thoughtless, and that was 2 days... Oh, that was last month! So as you can see, I'm not getting anywhere trying to persuade her. Even after I went through that intensive sandwich making training, it kind of makes me sad. She went through intensive sandwich making training?
She worked really hard at it.
I guess I have no choice if you got one of our cute little students on your side. So fine, I'll try your sandwich. Let's see it. Yes! I knew you'd come around. Here it is. You just handed me a hot dog! It's a little strongly flavored, but I guess it's not bad. Woohoo! My training paid off! I'm so glad my sandwich pleases the great Nurse Miriam. I look up to you, you know. Thank you for trying it, and thanks to you too, new kid. And she's run off again. That was weird. But that's just how Miss Dendra is, I guess. She's always coming into the nurse's office with some injury or another, too.
Maybe there's another reason she comes to the nurse's office? Huh? Huh, Nurse Miriam, huh? Huh? Sorry. Where'd she go? Oh, there she go. I didn't even notice her there.
Oh, it's new kid. You here to do a little shopping?
I came to see you.
Ah, so you came to see me, did you?
What's flying by in front of my person? That. Did you see that? Boop, there it is. What is that? I can't tell. It almost looks like a backpack or a Rotom phone or something.
I don't know. I'm here to check out the sandwiches they got for sale. The school store sandwiches taste great and have excellent nutritional balance, too.
What happened to your intensive training?
I guess I'm just not used to it yet. All that training kind of wore me out. I achieved my goal anyway, so I'm going to take a break from sandwich making for a bit. Oh right, I didn't tell you what my goal was. I wanted to pay Nurse Miriam back for everything she does for me. Aw, straight. It was my way of saying thanks. She's so nice and so skilled at what she does, I really look up to her. I wanted to try sandwich making so I could be skilled doing something for other people, like she is, but I guess I wasn't cut out for it. What I am cut out for is being full of energy, so I decided to focus on that instead. Like I said in class, I think people and Pokemon should make their strong points stronger. You really helped me out, new kid. Take this as my way of saying thanks.
Ew, that's a lot of protein, dang. Guess which flamingo of mine is chugging these bottles of protein?
Alright then, what should I go with today to get my protein in?
How about this protein that you gave me? Just a thought.
Let's go ahead and chug all of that, wherever that is. I wish it was easier to get to the stat items. No, wait, am I thinking incorrectly? I think held items might be what I'm thinking of, because once you start loading up on Terra Shards, it takes a long time to get to what you need to get to. And I wish there was a quick way of scrolling through bag items, but I'm pressing every button I can, and like without exiting out, and you can't scroll any of this. If you tap left or right, you can just move to the next tab. So there's no way of fast scrolling. It sucks. Take this. Alright. Dendra, we are close friends with. Saguado's back there. Hey, Miriam's back in the nurse's office. I don't know where she stepped out to, but maybe she went to go take her test?
Hey there, come on in. Everyone's welcome in the nurse's office. Oh, what a geek. I'm glad you're here. I have some good news. You're not going to believe this, but I passed the health teacher certification exam.
Wow. That quickly, huh? I guess I shouldn't speak. I was able to take many final exams in the matter of a day.
Thank you so much. I saw you pushing yourself real hard with your treasure hunt, and that really inspired me. Of course, most of the credit for my success goes to my own hard work, though. Thanks for giving me the push I needed to try again, what a geek.
Whoa, that's a lot of max revives.
But they tell me there's no room to add new classes this year. So I guess I'll keep being Nurse Miriam for a bit. Just you wait, though. I'll be standing in front of a class at this academy before you know it. Then I'll teach you all you need to know about health. I bet I'll make a great teacher. I can't wait to see you in my class.
Hey, proud of her. Alright, I think we got just time left. Besides, obviously, Rayford and Saguaro.
What a geek, help me keep an eye out, would you? I've set up a little ambush for that girl who keeps watching me. She'll be here any second. I've got a tripwire and everything.
An ambush?!
Well, you see, it's not very pleasant knowing she's just staring at me all the time. And now I know what she looks like after seeing her in the cafeteria. Ah. It's you, isn't it? You're the one who's been secretly watching me recently. It's time? How'd you know I guess you must have noticed me. I'm so sorry. Well, of course I noticed. You are watching me practically every day, after all. I assume there's something you want to ask me. Yes, I do. I've been a huge fan of yours since your time as a gym leader, and I love rock-type moves so very much. Oh my. But you just suddenly retired from your post as gym leader a year and a half ago. Why did you quit? My goodness, is that all you wanted to ask? Yes, your reason for retiring was never made public. But it's well known among the students here that you just avoid the question anytime it's asked. I thought it would be rude to ask you a question that you don't want to answer, so I just couldn't find the courage to ask. So that's why your gaze felt so very intense. I see. Forgive me. So very intense? Never mind that. As for the reason I quit my job as gym leader, I simply wanted to focus more on my job as a teacher. It's not that I disliked being a gym leader or anything of that sort. Quite the contrary. Talking about the gym fills me with feelings of nostalgia and sadness. That's why I always avoid answering the question when students ask. Oh, I see. Do you have any plans on becoming a gym leader again? No, I'm afraid I don't plan to do so. My sister is doing a splendid job as gym leader in my stead.
Oh, so was she the Montenevera gym leader before Rhyme took over?
I personally find being a teacher most enjoyable these days. But since I am in fact your teacher, I would appreciate it if you call me Ms. Time, as students do, and not just Time.
Okay, I'm sad to hear that, but I understand. Thank you so much, Miss Time.
Well, I suppose that solves the mystery. That made me so nervous. I said so many things to try to sound cool. I was certainly a little scared when I felt that girl's intense gaze on me. But having you here with me allowed me to do what needed to be done to face what turned out to be one of my biggest fans. I must thank you for always showing up at just the right time, what a geek. Allow me to show you my appreciation a little. I hope these help in your adventure.
Whoa! I know what I'm doing with these. Hey, Stork, Strike, hey, we're gonna go turn you into a rock type. That should be it, I believe. Just Rayford and Saguaro as our lingering teachers to talk to and do things for. So that was the last major classroom episode. Next time, for real, we are going to be taking on, going to, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be going to Area 0 and finishing up the Paldean storyline. And, yeah, that should be climactic and exciting. And I hope you're looking forward to it. So, thanks for watching. See you next time.